Get your first look at the CBC Evening News each Tuesday with news headlines at 7. Brought to you with the good wishes of Sagicor General Insurance. Wise financial thinking for life.
Another blaze keeps firemen busy. Last-minute tax filing as the deadline approaches. And in sports, we've had the first super over in the 2014 IPL.
Get your first look at the CBC Evening News each Tuesday with news headlines at 7. Brought to you with the good wishes of Sagicor General Insurance. Wise financial thinking for life.
Credible, balanced, committed. This is the CBC Evening News.
Good evening, I'm Lisa Broom. This is the CBC Evening News. Some 250 National Conservation Commission workers to know of their fate tomorrow morning. The workers were issued with letters today inviting them to a 10 o'clock meeting at NCC headquarters. It is expected that matters dealing with their retrenchment will be discussed. The workers are being sent home as part of government's retrenchment program. Meantime, the workers' representatives, the National Union of Public Workers, says they are keeping a close eye on the situation. A union source tells CBC News they want to ensure that the last in, first out process is followed and is warning the NCC's management that the union will take every course of action, including referring the matter to the Labour Department if there are deviations. The union says it is also concerned about unconfirmed reports that a significant number of lifeguards are earmarked to go home. The source says the union would be disappointed if this is the case, since lifeguards play a critical part in the island's vital tourism product. It took 2 fire tenders with 8 men, along with 3 water tankers from the Barbados Agricultural Management Company, to tackle a huge cane fire at Allendale, St. Lucie this morning. The fire was so big that it put residents on edge. One of them called CBC News this morning just after 8 when the blaze broke out, painting a picture of the situation there. The caller said the road was left impassable by thick smoke, which virtually decreased the visibility to 0 as acres of cane continued to burn. Station Officer Denton Foster led the team that responded to the blaze. He said despite its size, none of the homes in the area was threatened.
The event is not that high today, so that reduced the spread of the fire and the speed of the spread of the fire.
How about water though?
Water is all right today because the hydrants down here, they're good. The water pressure is good, and because of the 3 auxiliary tenders, that really helped us out a lot because there could more go through the terrain than the fire plants.
Station Officer Foster also wants people who plan to burn materials around their properties to call the fire service first so they can be advised of the proper procedures to follow. Residents living in and around Vaucluse woke to good news this morning. They heard that people downwind of the huge tire fire at the mangrove landfill yesterday should have nothing to worry about as far as dangerous fumes and smoke are concerned. That's the word coming from the acting Deputy Chief Fire Officer Lloydson Phillips earlier today. He says the fire was extinguished at about 8:15 last night and that fire officials were able to contain those dangerous gases being emitted.
It didn't impact on the residents as such, right? So no one was actually taken to the accident or emergency department, no, the shelters that were open, so everything went well.
And as you just heard, 2 shelters, Lester Vaughan Secondary School and Sharon Primary, were opened for people who may have been affected by the fire. Chief Environmental Health Officer Tyrone Applewhite says all day yesterday, the thick black smoke was billowing high into the air due to strong winds. The main concern at that time, according to him, was the extended period of time people would have been exposed to the smoke.
The last mission found that people did recognize that there is some material in the atmosphere. However, it is not on a persistent level. It is every now and again. So we're happy that they are saying that, and they're also telling us that things are not as bad, as we think they should be.
The court-martial against Private Timothy Bancroft has been adjourned to next Monday. President Major Christopher Birch granted the adjournment requested by Bancroft's defense attorney, Sub-Lieutenant Rita Evans. Evans told Major Birch that based on the seriousness of the charges and the time constraints, it would be remiss of her not to seek an adjournment. Major Burke indicated that Private Bancroft has the right to be represented and present his case in a proper manner. Bancroft is charged with stealing property, escaping from custody, and disobeying standing orders. He appeared before Major Birch and a panel made up of 4 members of the Coast Guard. It's the first court-martial for the year so far. It will reconvene at 9 a.m. on Monday. With less than 24 hours to go until the income tax deadline, several Barbadians converged on the Treasury building to ensure their taxes were filed on time. The line snaked around the Fairchild Street building on both sides, indicating that it would have been a long wait for many. The Inland Revenue Department has also set up an additional customer service center at the Weymouth Corporate Center, Roebuck Street, St. Michael. The facility has been established to assist taxpayers with any challenges they're having with online filing, for example, password changes and other income tax queries. Taxpayers have between 8:30 and 4 tomorrow to seek help. Those who do not file by tomorrow will have to pay a $500 fine. A Barbadian delegation is off to China to showcase at the Beijing Art Festival. The group is being led by Culture Minister Stephen Lashley and includes Angela Wendt, Jean Lynch, Andre Ford, Lisa Harewood, Nikita Brown and Stefan Walcott. They left Sunday and will be there until May 5th, representing a cross-section of the arts in Barbados. Speaking to CBC before the trip, China's ambassador to Barbados, Wang Qi, says it's an excellent opportunity for exposure.
It will be very well organized. The venue will be in a very big park, open park in downtown area in China, in Beijing actually. And the time just coincides with our international Labor Day public holiday. So we'll have in China we'll have 3 days public holiday. So I believe that there will be tens of thousands of visitors, local visitors, go to that park to enjoy the art performance.
Minister Lashley said there will be a Caribbean flavor at the Beijing Art Festival and it will be great for networking.
We believe that this is a good time to explore opportunities in the Chinese market, particularly in relation to cultural goods and cultural services, the export of those cultural goods and cultural services. And we feel that with the pending proclamation of the Cultural Industries Development Act, that this is certainly an opportune time to go to China and to certainly forge those relations.
The Labour Department is taking its safety and health at the workplace message specifically regarding chemicals to primary school students across Barbados. As part of efforts to mark World Day for Safety and Health at Work, officially observed yesterday across the globe. This morning, it was the turn of Wesley Hall boys and girls to hear how best to protect themselves and others from everyday chemicals which can pose a threat to their health and safety. Acting Senior Officer at the Labour Department, Alison Elcock, told the media they used a skit to highlight their concerns.
Essentially what we want to convey to persons is that chemicals should be treated carefully at all times. You shouldn't reuse them into bottles that are not properly labeled. They should be used in well-ventilated spaces. Those are the sort of things. So we want to educate the children so they can take home the message, as well as to get them thinking about safety from an early age so that they can take that into their adult life.
The Labour officer also expressed concern about accidents involving chemicals at home.
We are trying to reach out to the use of chemicals in the home because there are a lot of accidents that can happen in the home. I mean, when you think about how you use chemicals at home, you don't really think about it as, you're just using a little bit of Clorox, you're just using a little bit of toilet cleaner or something like that. But you don't consider that it's actually a dangerous chemical that you're using.
Students across Barbados have been encouraged to learn more about the Commonwealth. This was the message at the recent Royal Commonwealth Society Barbados branch exercise book distribution ceremony. There, students from several secondary schools were presented with the exercise books, which contain a wealth of information about the grouping and its 53 member states. Addressing the students, Parliamentary Secretary in the Ministry of Education, Science, Technology and Innovation, Senator Harcourt Husbands, said he believes many young people don't know much about the Commonwealth, but the books can help change that.
Students can use this as a wonderful opportunity to gather valuable knowledge about this very important institution. I urge you students to make good use of these exercise books. Take good care of them, as they are gifts. Show your appreciation to your colleagues and family members. I would also encourage you to carry out further research on the Commonwealth. Use the knowledge gained to make informed contributions as a citizen of a Commonwealth member state.
The books represent only one of the ways in which the Royal Commonwealth Society Barbados branch is reaching out to young people, as explained by Chairman Dame Maisie Barker Welch.
One of our plans is to establish youth groups of the Royal Commonwealth Society Barbados branch, because we feel that it is the youth of this island and of everywhere who are most important persons who will form the next generation of counselors, of chairmen, of head teachers, principals. And so we are focusing on the children of Barbados.
In his address, Canadian High Commissioner to Barbados, Richard Hanley, explained a bit about the Commonwealth and reiterated his country's commitment to the grouping. It is unlikely that you would have seen her on stage dancing, singing, or even acting. But without the behind-the-scenes contribution of Merle Niles, many of the shows and stage productions in Barbados would not have come off as successfully as they have. Now, after 47 years in the industry, 35 local artists will come together to pay tribute to the stalwart. Organizer Richard Stout says the concert called To Merle with Love will be staged at Divvy South Winds this Sunday.
It's too often when we give our flowers to people when they are gone and they can't hear, what you have to say about them. So I thought that this was an excellent opportunity for me to give back to a lady who's given so much to entertainment in Barbados over the years. And also to make sure that she values this moment, because all of the monies collected from this program will go directly to Ms. Niles. I think it's time we start giving people monetary contributions instead of just a plaque, and let them know how much you care about them, and so that they can remember the moment.